Hey everyone, Dr. Bryce Lee with another frequently asked question we get at Strength Space. And this time we're asking, is it safe to strength train if I have arthritis in my joints? One of the big misapprehensions or bad ideas that people have about arthritis is that it's just as simple as wear and tear. That the reason I got arthritis in the first place is because I did too much physical activity and my joints just wore out, and that if I want to protect them, the best thing I can do is to just sit on the couch and avoid physical activity. And this is wrong in many ways. First of all, we understand that recreational joggers, for example, tend to have less arthritis than sedentary people. We understand that things that are associated with being sedentary, like poor metabolic health, obesity, those things tend to contribute to more arthritis. And so these things start to make us question what's really going on under the hood. And here's the big missing piece. When our bodies experience stress in our joints, what needs to happen is they release chemicals that request repair processes to happen. These inflammatory chemicals drive a process of repair in our cartilage. And that's what's supposed to happen, and it's what happens when we're young, because young people have wear and tear in their knees as well. But when we have high levels of systemic inflammation, our body can't respond correctly to those wear and tear signals, and no repair happens, and that's what causes the joints to degenerate. So why might we have high systemic inflammation? Well, being sedentary in and of itself, not using our muscle tissue, can contribute to this. Having poor metabolic health, smoking, drinking to excess, obesity, and stress, all of these things can contribute to systemic inflammation. What we know is that exercise lowers systemic inflammation. There's a whole hormonal response to exercise. When we really strenuously recruit and work our muscle tissue, get our heart rate up, there are beneficial things that happen to our levels of systemic inflammation. And by doing that regularly in a way that is safe, controlled, and joint friendly, when we find a way to do that, we can have our cake and eat it too, because we can get the health benefits of exercise, and we can lower our levels of systemic inflammation, which gives our body the best chance of repairing and preserving our muscle tissue and our joint health. On top of that, the best way we can lower wear and tear from our daily activities is to improve our shock absorption. If our muscles are robust, they can absorb the impacts of our day-to-day activities, which reduces the stress and the wear and tear on our joints. Low muscle mass and low strength in the legs is an excellent predictor of higher impact forces in the joints and of progression of arthritis. And so if we want to manage arthritis right now, because we have some degeneration and some joint space narrowing, if your doctor has told you that you're bone on bone, which sounds very scary, even if all of that is true, more shock absorption potential from our muscle tissue and lower systemic inflammation, which we get from exercising correctly, are only going to help us to improve our health, improve our function, and even if we eventually have progression that leads to a joint replacement, stronger muscle tissue is going to help us recover and recuperate from that joint replacement surgery faster and with a better outcome. So there's only reasons to strength train. It's of course important that we do so safely, that we avoid high impact, explosive, bouncing, yanking, high force activity, and instead that we use a slow and controlled tempo, which allows us to keep the stress where it belongs on the muscles and minimize wear and tear on the joints. But it's essential that we adopt an exercise habit that involves strength training if we want to give our joints the best chance of preventing arthritic progression in the first place and managing whatever arthritis there is now. I hope that's helpful to you. I hope it motivates you to adopt an exercise habit that involves strength training that is controlled and safe. And I hope you have the optimism to go and pursue that and manage your arthritic pain, because it really does give you the best chance of doing so when you have good shock absorption in your muscles and a good metabolic health and systemic inflammation. So thanks very much for your attention. I'm, again, Dr. Bryce Lee with Strength Space. Stay tuned for more frequently asked question videos.